Emergent literacy is one of the most foundational pieces in a child's development with literacy. It is very important for all students and especially ML students. So, the lesson that I chose to create to help those children, to help any children discover the magic of books and to build those emergent literacy skills is a lesson that I've titled Discovering the Magic of Books. So, in our lesson, the students will be able to demonstrate an understanding of the basic print concepts, such as book orientation and identifying the front cover of a book, the back cover of a book, the title page of a storybook, and understanding how to correctly hold the book while reading. Something that's important that children learn from the early on is the reading direction. So, through this language and learning target, our students will be able to say and identify and describe what the front cover looks like and why it's important, and also identify the title page and the author and the illustrator so that they are really starting to grasp and understand the basic concepts of print that they'll need. And this is something that they can use in their home language and also as they're learning English. So, the hook, or to get the kids interested in our lesson, I'll describe to them that today we're going on a very special journey and we are going to be learning about the different parts in a book. And I'll tell the kids that we'll discover how to handle those books with care and get ready for some fun activities and games that we can play with our books. So, the first activating strategy that I would use, we're calling it What's in the Mystery Bag. And I would have a picture book ready to go in a bag. And I would select this book based on the interests of my students, maybe based on the different locations of where we live or a favorite character that our class might have. And so just kind of thinking about the students and what they enjoy. So then we'll guess what's inside and I'll let them describe it. And this will help boost their speaking so that they can ask and answer questions. And I'll just tell them that it's something very special that we can use and explain how it helps us learn and imagine. And then we'll find out together. And then we will reveal that inside the mystery bag is a book. So when the book comes out, we'll say, surprise, it's a book. Look how colorful this book is. And then to begin, we will talk about how do we treat books. And this is going to activate their schema and what they already know about how they treat books. We can talk about having gentle hands and clean fingers, and even how our bodies are still and quiet sometimes when we're reading. And throughout this part, we will make a chart so that the students have a constant reminder of the rules and expectations about what it should look like and sound like as we are reading books together and how to handle those books especially. So then I would go into describing the parts of a book. I chose the book, The Queen of Kindergarten, to use as my example because this lesson is targeted for a kindergarten class, and this is something that they can relate to and they enjoy reading. And so I will explain that the front cover is kind of like a book's face. It shows the name of the book, which we call the title, and we can practice saying the title, and I would incorporate the sentence stem, the title is, so that kids can help identify what the title is. And then we'll go into showing and discussing the pictures and telling the students that the pictures help us tell about the story and also point out the author and the illustrator. That way the students know that the author is the one who wrote the story and the illustrator is the person who designed and created the pictures. So then we'll continue and we'll go into what is an author and how the author writes the book and they create the story with their imagination. And then I might have them just kind of share out if there's any authors that they already know that they love, or maybe have them identify different books that we've read as a class or they've read at home and identify who those authors are. Then we'll go into kind of talking about the back cover and how it sometimes has pictures and it gives you a little summary and tells what the story will be about. So it's kind of like a little sneak peek, almost like a little commercial about what's inside of the book. Then, most important, we're going to talk about how to hold a book, because at this emergent literacy level, they're still learning how to hold a book. Make sure they're holding it up and down so that the pictures are not upside down and the words are not upside down. So make sure they're holding it correctly, how to hold it with both hands, making sure that the front cover is facing you, and how we open it very gently from right to left, making sure we don't get the pages dirty or we don't rip or crinkle any of the pages as we are reading. The next thing that we would do is we would practice and have everyone get a book. I might allow them to go to our classroom library, or I might have another little basket of books right there with me on the carpet to give them. And so they can either work together in pairs or by themselves, so that they can identify and find the front cover of the book, the back cover of the book, and then we can practice holding the book right side up, opening it together carefully. And then as we start looking through our book, we'll talk about the reading direction and how we read from left to right, how we usually start at the top of the page and then move down. And I'll associate it to how they write their names. And then we'll go into pictures and words and how they tell a story and the illustrator. And then the game we'll play is Book Detective. So all of the children will have a recording sheet, and I'll pull in a magnifying glass just to give them a little prop and make it more engaging, and tell them that they are going to be book detectives, and they can look and find the front cover, the back cover, the title, and the author's name. And then when they finish that, they can draw their favorite part of the book. And then finally, we'll kind of come back together to share our findings, and we'll let them share with a friend to tell what they found, again, to help with that speaking, show them their favorite picture, and see if they can identify any of the words that are already in the book. And then if time permits, we would play a fun little game of charades where we can act out the different parts of the books, and have our friends guess what they're showing or what they're acting out to help remember all the things that they've learned. And then we will do our 5-star review, where we talk about the 5 most important things that we learned from our lesson. And that is that books have special parts. We read from left to right, that pictures and words work together, and that authors write and illustrators draw, and then how we handle the books with care. Thank you.